Not much, man. Yourself?
Yeah, I just had my first day of school today. That
Oh
was
yeah.
real fun.
Well, you a junior this year?
Sophomore.
Sophomore? Okay,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, it's
Enjoy it, man.
yeah, kind of weird. I've been moving around a lot recently, or not recently, pretty much my entire life. And so I'm still like new to the area that I'm in right now. And so it's
Mm,
kind of awkward because it's like in high school, most of the people there have known each other for a long time. And so it's like
right.
everyone's got their own groups and I'm just new. But
I
yeah.
got you. Yeah. So
So
the moving is like your family like military or something or?
no, just a lot of like moving jobs or different like life circumstances kind of just
Yeah.
yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. No, it happens a lot. I mean, people. I moved up here to Connecticut. I'm from North Carolina, and people all the time from up here end up moving down to North Carolina or California. So,
Yeah.
yeah, jobs take people places.
Yeah. So how long have you been bodybuilding?
Uh, so I really got into working out when I was like 15. Yeah, I remember my dad got me a Bowflex, and I got into that, and probably when I was probably like 16 is when I really started to know what I was doing. Because at first I was making all the mistakes, training arms every day, doing chest every day, like skipping legs, and
Yeah.
not eating enough. You know, and then once about 16, that's when I started taking it really serious because I played football and everything, and I always wanted to compete, but it was so hard to compete before because I've always been, I'm not tall, but far as like bodybuilding wise, I'm pretty tall. I'm 6 foot, like, and back then the men's physique I think came out in like 2012 or 13. So when I was, like I know you want to compete soon. So when I was like 16 and stuff, it was just nothing but open body. It was just bodybuilding. So it was a lot harder because my class would be 6 foot. Well, they go by weight, so I'd have say I weighed 180 pounds at 6 foot when I was a junior or sophomore in high school. I looked kind of like a string bean where it could be a guy shorter than me that's like 5'5", 160 pounds, and he looks a lot stockier. So they came out with the men's physique, and then I wanted to try that, and that was in 2013. I was 21 then, so I was about 215 pounds when I dieted for my first show, and I cut down about 188, I think. And I remember I went and saw because the reason why I got into it was there was a girl I knew did the bikini, and she mentioned it to me, and she had a coach, and I went and saw the coach, and like I got really lean for that show. 'Cause she was like at that time like men's physique. It's not what it is now. Like now they're like just bodybuilders with board shorts, whereas
Yeah.
before it was the look. Eventually was just it was a look that somebody could achieve. You weren't supposed to be as lean, and like she's like you got to like try to put on a little more weight. Like you're as lean as like bodybuilders. So I took that first like prep real serious, and I enjoyed it. I was like bit by the bug. It's fun because like you were saying, with your high school, it's a everybody's like in that same group. When you compete for a competition, everybody's there for they all worked hard. Everybody knows what everybody's been through: diet, cardio, training. Dealing with life. People not understanding why you doing this, why you carrying around Tupperware, why are you eating healthy? People give a crap about like choosing healthy you know lifestyle, but yeah, that's
Yeah.
one of the great things about it. And then after that I just kept competing. I would try to give myself about a year, try to improve. Like my first show I came in third, and I didn't even do like novice or teen or nothing. I just did the open, and I placed third. And then I wanted to come back. And the next year I did come back, and I think I placed like fifth, which was harder competition. And then I had some medical issues that set me back. I lost like a good like 30 pounds of muscle. I was in the hospital for like a month. So then it was just getting back to where I was. And then I competed 4 times up here in Connecticut, New York area. But the last time I competed was 2018 though.
Hmm. Yeah, so I think bodybuilding is one of the like the very few sports where it's like everyone who does it kind of like understands like what it takes. Because I feel like with like basketball or football or like other sports like that, it take like a lot more of it can be like more like talent. And I mean, you could say in bodybuilding like people have like genetics, but that still doesn't like
Yeah.
make you better. It just can make you like a little bit of an advantage. And I think that's probably why I like it a lot because it's a lot more just like brute like hard work and like dedication.
Yeah, and it's yourself, you're the one that's putting in the work. You could bust your tail in a sport effort and you could have somebody that doesn't care, you know. But yeah, I agree with that 100%. Like, because in high school, I mean, I played college football. I worked so hard to try to get my 40 time down. I was in the gym. I was doing all that stuff, and like one of my best friends didn't work out. Ate like crap. Like he just would go to practice. Like he didn't do anything outside of practice. And like he could have probably made it to like the NFL. Like he was that good, and it just sucked. Like me, I did everything I could do, and I couldn't be as good as him. Like you said, in bodybuilding, it's different. Once you get to that top level where like the pros, that's when the genetics really matter. Then,
Yeah.
anybody can put on muscle and build a nice physique and look good, but when you get up there and that Mr. Olympia stuff, that's really when the genetics really matter because that's just some guys are just born with that stuff. You see those guys like Flex Wheeler and Phil Heath, and it just looks unreal. But that's genetics.
Yeah, I remember when I started out, I was like, wow, those guys, like, there's so many of them. I could get like that within a couple years. And like a month later, I was like, oh, that's a lot more work than I thought it was. Yeah.
Yes, well, that's what a lot of people give up is because they want fast results. And yeah, that was like me, man. Like I said, I started when I was 15 and hadn't stopped. The longest break I've ever taken was when I was in the hospital that time for about a month. I mean, for me, like it's just my lifestyle. It's what I love to do. Like if I don't do some kind of exercise or something, like I just mentally, I have to have it each day to just like clear my mind, stress free. But yeah, nothing's better than the gym. Like getting the pump. I mean, it's just a great feeling.
Yeah. So having competed or I don't know how many times you have, but like
I think 8 altogether. Let's see. I guess I did 4 up here. No, 6. So I've done 6.
all right, yeah. So what would you say is like the hardest part about competing or bodybuilding in general?
The hardest. I mean, it really is mental. Mentally, you got to be so consistent, and you have to be so focused on what your goal is, and unfortunately, you gotta kind of block things out. I mean, you need to be able to handle multiple things in life, but for a show, I mean, it's hard because you're getting down to such low body fat. Your training's got to be perfect. Like everything is set up from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed when you're doing a show. And if you're really taking it serious, I mean, if you're just going there to have fun, but shows aren't cheap. Some people like, amateur shows like, what'd you win? I got a trophy. That's about it. But honestly, man, it's expensive,
Yeah.
and you have, because you got to get a tan, you got to, normally get a hotel, you got to pay for your card to compete. Then you got to pay for the show, and then, you're going to want to buy stuff there and stuff. So, I mean, it can cost, but, I think one of the biggest mistakes I made was I should have had a coach, because a mistake I would always make is I can do the off season, I can push myself. I can know how many calories and stuff to eat, my training. But when you get to like that, like 3 weeks, probably you start kind of mentally messing with yourself because you really starting to get depleted. You're getting smaller, and you're like, oh man, I think I should carb up. I should give myself some carbs. And you might make that mistake. And if you had a coach that just has a plan for you, and they look at you every day, and you just follow what they say, it's just a lot easier. You don't play mind games with yourself. You just do what's told, and that's it. But yeah, that's one of the biggest things. Is just like it mentally, you have to be prepared for it. It's not easy, but
Yeah.
if you enjoy it, it's not that bad. I mean, when I was competing, I looked forward to waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning to do fasted cardio, or sometimes if I had to train that early in the morning.
Yeah. I've heard from a lot of people that a coach is definitely like a really good idea. And that's one reason why I ended up not competing this month. I was gonna do it just to kind of like feel out kind of like what it was like to compete. And then
Yeah.
I was like, man, that's gonna take like we gotta drive down to Colorado. That's like a 12-hour drive, and then we gotta find a hotel, and then we gotta pay to get in. And like after a while, I was like, that just doesn't sound that interesting for something that I just yeah. And so
Yeah, I know you. I remember you mentioned about wanting to do one. I commented. I was like, give yourself some time because one, you're young. How long you been working out serious?
um about a year. There was like a solid like month where I kind of just like iffed out of it. I was like, well, I'm still eating some food. I'm not reaching 3,000 calories, but I'm still eating some food. And
Yeah.
there was a couple times where I got to that point, and so it wasn't until like a couple months ago where I was like, okay, I need to be following this, and if I don't, I just need to. And so there've been times where I'll be up at like 12 o'clock just like trying to get all the rest of my calories in. And
Yeah, that's still me to this day.
yeah. Yeah, it's a very repetitive sport, but it's definitely worth it. It's definitely
Yeah, it's very rewarding when you work so hard and you go up there on stage and you get to present yourself, and then if you do well and you get a trophy and you place well, and I've qualified to go to nationals, but I haven't won a show, and I haven't, obviously I haven't won overall, but I haven't won a show. Second's the best I've done, but at most shows, I think like if you place third, you qualify for like a national show. But I'm like, why am I going to go there if I didn't win here? There's going to be guys that won at other shows. So that's, I eventually, my ultimate goal is I want to get my pro card in classic physique. And right now, while I'm living up here in the Connecticut, New York area, I would love to just step on stage and compete at the New York Pro. That would be a dream come true for me. Cause now, the whole like chasing Mr. Olympia, all that stuff. That's kind of, I know that's not going to happen. And I'm going to be 33 in November, so and Chris Bumstead, nobody's taking that guy out anytime.
well, there is one guy. I keep saying videos. It's this really big black dude, and he's like he's just freaking ginormous, like in perfect symmetry. And I think he might be like one of the only people who can like have a chance. Him and maybe Ramon. I think that's his name.
Yeah, Ramon. I mean, Ramon gets a little bit more weight this time where they bumped it up. But the thing with the classic physique is the look. Chris Bumstead, what separates him from everybody is his taper, how his waist does, the way his lats do. Those other guys don't have that. And then, he has all that detail and stuff in his side leg and stuff. But I think I know the guy you're talking about. He calls himself Mr. Classic Physique or something. Thomas or something. He's a taller guy. But he's got kind of smaller legs because of the weight cap that makes him hard to be able to fill out his frame. But yeah, not nobody. I think Chris, he'll retire champ. Unfortunately, nobody's going to be able to. Which I mean, I like him. I don't want to see him go down. Honestly, I mean, he's a great ambassador for the sport, and people that don't even know about bodybuilding, everybody knows Chris Bumstead. So like, he's really made fitness. He's like the Arnold of his generation, basically.
Yeah, I know the guy that we're talking about. I know I saw a lot of people, and me too. I was thinking that he looked more like an open bodybuilder just because of his size. I mean, maybe they're just because of like he looked like he was like a little shorter. Maybe it was just the angle, but like a lot bigger too, and he looked more kind of like a Kevin Levrone kind of build. But yeah, so I can't remember. Did you say when you were gonna compete next, or?
So I've wanted to compete since I last competed in 18. because I did classic physique and I did pretty well there. I did the Jay Cutler show up here in Boston, and that was really cool. I placed second in men's physique and third in classic physique. But anyway, I got a picture with Jay and had him like sign my trophy. And Jay's probably, like I didn't watch Arnold. Arnold's like my favorite. He's everybody's favorite. I've seen Pumping Iron. I watched all his movies and stuff, and definitely after watching the documentary, like he's just a cool dude. But when I got into bodybuilding, it was Ronnie Coleman and Jay Cutler were the rising stars at that time, and Ronnie was kind of going down, and then Jay came, and so I always liked Jay, and he was the underdog, so it was really cool meeting him. So he's one of my big heroes. But like I said, I've wanted to compete ever since then, but I've had health issues, like GI and intestinal issues, and bodybuilding is all about consistency. And if you can't eat every day those meals that you need to get in, you're not going to put on the size. And unfortunately, that's the issue with me. Like, I'll have a flare up and I might not be able to eat really anything that day because I might be sick, hurting, in pain all that day. And I'll try to throw in a few protein shakes. But when you said your calories like 3,000, I need to be eating about 4,000 as far as it being a surplus for me to put on size. And I just, 1 week I can do it. And then the next week, I have a flare up and I can't eat as much. And then I can't even get to the gym some days because I've lost about 20 pounds since March, of pretty much muscle, mostly just from, just not being able to eat the way that I want to eat. But I'm getting the MRI done this Tuesday coming up. So I'm hoping that we'll find something. Because I had this issue before when I mentioned I was in the hospital. I was back in 2014, and once they got me on medication and stuff, I was doing a lot better, and I competed. 3-4 times after I had the first initial surgery and stuff. And now it's just came back and it's just gotten bad. Like basically every morning I wake up, I just feel nauseous and I can't really eat. Like I used to eat every morning, 8 egg whites, 2 whole eggs, a cup of oatmeal, blueberries. Now if I can eat I love that bowl of Gaines cream of rice. If I can get some of that down in a protein shake, that's my breakfast now. And that's about all I can eat. And then as the day goes on, I get an appetite. So I'm hoping if I can get this medical issue, because, I want to compete so bad. I just want to just go up there one more time and, be better than I was last time. And I've learned so much. That's another thing about the sport. You never can stop learning,
Yeah.
I learn new stuff all the time, new training techniques, supplementation, one thing I used to not do is I didn't really use carbs. And especially now with me not being able to eat as much, I use a lot of clustered dextrin carbohydrates pre-training and during my training. And that makes a big difference as far as my fullness and my performance. And that's something I never did before. That's like a waste. Why am I going to drink carbs while I work out? But it helps a lot.
Yeah. I know even in the short year that I've been lifting, I know there's been several times where I'll especially with Instagram, and everyone can just put out a video telling you what they think is the right thing to do. And so for a long time I was well, I saw in this video that I need to do this. And then a couple days later I'd be well, that video told me I shouldn't be doing that. And so after a while I was I would just I'd try stuff out, and if it started to work for me, I would use that. And then I just kind of every arms especially, I've added in a lot of more tricep things, because my triceps are really, really small, and every time I add one in, it's okay, that works better. And then over a while it'll just kind of stop working as much, so I'll try a different variation, just doing one arm stuff, and I think that definitely helps me. So
yeah, 100%. I'm glad you said that, because that's the worst thing about social media is especially these people with huge followers. They're just, they'll post a crazy workout or, their diet. There is no perfect diet. There is no perfect training program. all of it works. Yeah,
Yeah.
some of them work better for others, but it's like what you said. What you like, what works good for you. You know, like I might tell you, incline dumbbell press is the best chest exercise. Well, you might like incline barbell. You might feel that the most, or you may say, I like the incline hammer strength press. That's what you feel the most. Like that's what matters. What you actually feel. And then over time, you may learn, as your body, you learn your body more, your mind muscle connection and stuff, certain movements, you might start feeling better. But one thing is like, it's just the basics are the most important, especially somebody like you starting out. Like you need to master, your squat, your deadlift, your bench press, your overhead press, your bent over rows, and then you add in those other movements. Because like I see all these people now, everybody's doing the whole lat pull down, with the cable with one arm and doing all this. I mean, that's like isolation. They're seeing like, Hunter Labrada and those pros doing that. Like, yeah, that guy's doing that, all that stuff now because he's fine tuning. Like, he built his body doing those bread and butter exercises. Like, when you don't have a whole lot of muscle, you need to do the basic stuff. You don't need to be doing these isolation movements.
Yeah.
And I'm like you, man. Arms are what I struggle with too, because you have long arms. Like you have long arms, right?
Mm-hmm. I
So
think I
like,
have long arms.
yeah. I mean, my arms are long. When they're pumped, they look good, but to me, they look like they're like skinny. Like whenever I don't have a pump, but like cables are one thing I learned that are really good for me, and maybe you should try more of just because like when you have longer arms, it's harder to keep the tension. So with the cables, you keep the tension on it a whole lot.
Yeah.
But there's a new arm technique that I've been doing that I got from a guy that I actually met in my first bodybuilding competition. He's really doing well now. He works at I don't know if you know Destination Dallas, which is a big gym in Texas that's popular. A lot of pros train there.
I haven't heard of that one.
But anyway, he's a trainer there now, and he's getting ready to do a show himself. But he posted like how he does his arm workout. I've never done it that way. And he would start from the most contracted position exercises till then the most shortened. I mean, lengthened. So the first bicep exercise would be like doing the standing cable curl where you do like this one arm. Because the shortened position is when you're all the way here.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when you're going to feel. So you like do that. And then like for the triceps, when you push all the way down like a rope. And then the next movement will be like your regular compound, which could be any of your standing cable curl, barbell curl, or if you want to use dumbbells, because you're all in that same plane. So you think about you're moving through different planes. And then like the last one, you would do the most lengthened position. So that'd be like your dumbbell extension, and then like incline, like dumbbell curl or something.
Yeah.
For your biceps. I did that, and like I'm not gonna sit here and say, "Oh, my arms have grown so much more," because like one, like I can't say so consistent with my diet and everything on my health. But one thing I do know is that my arms are sore the next day, and normally I never really had any soreness. So
Yeah.
try that out next time.
Yeah, I know. I do.
I'm actually gonna post a video on it too. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. A lot. I do. I don't do stuff in order that much. I'm right now. I just kind of like do whatever I want to do next. Mm-hmm. I've tried organizing it sometimes, but I kind of just like forget to follow what I've like organized. So I think I'll try that out. I think my next arm day is in like 3 days, so I'll definitely try that out. So sorry, you can go.
Well, I'm saying, so back to the competing thing. Like I said, if I get healthy, and then if I can get back to where I was, because I was walking around at my best around 230, pretty lean. Like my off season, I never let myself I don't do the dirty bulk. If I can't see my abs, then I need to, clean, cut back the carbs a little bit, do a little more cardio. That's what I always use for my guide when I'm like bulking, like in the mirror. Like, the scale can say whatever, but you can look in the mirror and tell.
This episode of the podcast was brought to you by Clout Power.
With the gym community expanding faster than it ever has, people usually rely on the bigger pre-workout and supplement brands that everyone knows about. These brands will use strange mixtures in order to make their pre-workouts taste better, but in turn makes the side effects of the pre-workout larger and more prominent. Clout, however, tells you on the bottle where they get their ingredients, and when you buy with Clout, you know you're getting your money's worth of products. They just recently released a new pump product, and let me tell you, this pre gives you the nastiest of pumps. Kyle Pump can also be stacked with other Kyle high stimulant pre-workouts. Now, when you buy Clout, you may be wanting to save a little bit of money, and with my code Brawny, you can save 15% off your entire order. Not just your first order, but every time you use code Brawny at checkout, you can support this podcast and save yourself a little bit of money on the best supplements on the market. Once again, you can use my code Brawny, BRAWNY, at checkout and save 15% off your entire order. This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Powerwing Co. Powerwing is a clothing brand that makes awesome looking gym clothing, and I love these clothes. They are super comfortable and incredibly high quality, and you can save 10% off of all of your orders by using my code Brawny. Once again, you can use my code Brawny, BRAWNY, for 10% off all of your Powerwing orders. You can click the link in this episode's description and take you to their website, but do not check out without using my code in order to save 10% off. One last time, this code is Brawny, BRAWNY, and with every order you make, you support this podcast. So I thank you in advance.
So if I get back up and around the 2:30, I'll cut back down and then I'll do a show. But so if I can have a good like 6 months, because my body wants to grow. I mean, when I'm healthy, I get back up to about 210, 215, and then I have a flare up and I'll go back down to this 205 ish. So, yeah.
Yeah. Man, my biggest issue is just weight. Like, I can eat so much food, but me also being like still super young, my metabolism is still super high. So like, one day I'll be like 122, and the next day I'll be like 118, and then the next day I'll be like 121, and the next day I'll be like 118 again, and it's just like, it's super inconsistent for me, but like, okay, like it still goes up in like a little trending line, and it's just like kind of annoying after a while. It's just like, come on, I've been doing this for so long, and I still have only gained like a very little amount of weight. But yeah, I think gaining weight for me is the hardest part for bulking.
Yeah. Well, after this, you reach out to me and I can, give you some tips on some, ways to try to get in extra calories and stuff like that, help you out.
So speaking of calories, what are your favorite like bulking and cutting meals?
So basically I pretty much eat the same, like, when I'm dieting and when I'm not, like I eat clean. I mean, it's just, I like clean food. Like I don't even know the last time I went and got like fast food or anything. And like for me, like eating like a cheat is I just love rice cakes with peanut butter. And the caramel rice cakes with peanut butter and a little cinnamon. Might slice a little banana. So that handles my sweet tooth. And now I've been eating this the bowl of Gaines cream of rice. That's delicious. They got a brownie batter one. I mean, it literally tastes like brownie batter. So for like bulking, normally what I try to do is I try to get in 50 grams of protein per meal, and then about 50 to 60 grams of carbs, and then normally probably about 15 grams of fat per meal. And then if I'm cutting, just cut it back a little bit. Like some of my meals that I really enjoyed when I was dieting was I would just make a big salad and I would, have vegetables and stuff. And it was like a taco bowl, and I would have my steak or my chicken. And then I would just throw that in the big bowl with the salad. And then for my salsa, what I would use was for my dressing, I would just use salsa. And then I'd squirt some lime juice and then some hot sauce. So there's no fat, it's a little sodium, maybe a little bit of sugar from the salsa. But anyway, so that's straight low carb, high protein. That was one of my favorite, like really cutting meals. Because other than that, I was eating the same. I would have steak and rice. It's just I would have, my off season, I'm eating 200 to 250 grams of rice. Whereas like when I'd be cutting, it might be 100 grams, 150 grams.
Yeah. I know.
I definitely enjoy cutting more. I feel like off season is just you can never get enough food. You know, you feel
Yeah.
full all the time.
I'm excited to cut because like I kind of hate the feeling. Like right now, I get this feeling every time that I'm like hungry. I get like worried because like usually whenever I have like the chance to eat, I don't have any food around me. Like I'll just be like at
Mm.
school or like away from home where I don't have like the option to get something to eat. So I'm just like I like go in like a little panic mode. I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna burn too many calories and then I'm gonna have to eat a lot more. And so I like freak out.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of and I'm also excited to cut because right now I'm kind of in like a little like fighting kick. Like you can see my knuckles are like really bloodied up, or not like
Okay.
scarred up, and I kind of like doing that right now. But the
You
problem
join a
is
fight club?
not yet. I mean, not that I can
Not,
not that I can not
you
that
ever
I can
seen that movie?
disclose.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Brad Pitt and Fight Club.
yeah, and I just like doing that right now. So it's kind of like every day I come home and I'm just like, okay, well I have to drink like well, I have the Premier Protein thing, so I'm like, okay, I gotta drink those two, and then I'll make my normal like post workout like snack or food meal,
Mm.
and then yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah. So
No, you were talking about doing a cut.
yeah, and that's what I think. Yeah, I think it'd be a lot easier for me to cut because right now I'm just a lot more used to not eating as much food. And so
Yeah.
I feel like it'd be a lot easier for me to limit the food instead of adding more.
Yeah, like you were saying, it can. That's the thing about it. It can mentally mess with you. I mean, it was like when I like take for instance arms. I felt like I had to do like every variation of a bicep exercise when I did arms that day. You know, it's like if I miss it this week, you know that muscle part is not going to grow. It's such a mental thing, and I've learned so much is like less is more. Like
Yeah.
you know, like I overtrained so much for so many years, you know, but I loved it though. I mean, I just love being in there. I love working out. Like I still have that issue now. Like I'll be doing stuff and I'm like, all right, you've done enough. Like go home, you know, let yourself recover. And that's hard to do and hard to take actual rest days where I don't go lift any weights. Like, you know, so my rest days are abs, calves, and, you know, I'll do, you know, cardio.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm still doing something.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a mental thing. That's what's really hard about it. You got to be able to handle that part too, because you always hear the thing every 3 hours you got to eat, and you're like, if you go without that time, you're like, oh, you know, I'm gonna lose some muscle or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, I know all that stuff you're talking about. I've been through all that.
Yeah. I think body dysmorphia is probably one of the worst things because like it's like
yeah.
especially with my arms because they still like unless I'm like really pumped up like I still feel like I'm like the same as I was a year ago, and so sometimes
Yeah.
like in between sets I'll just like scroll through the old pictures that I have, and I'll just be like, okay, don't worry, you have made progress. It's definitely
It's a tough thing. Like look in the mirror and stuff. You know, like people like want to post a picture of something. Like when I look at that, I just pick it apart about like everything that's bad about it. What could be better? While some people probably think like, oh, that guy thinks he's the shit.
Yeah.
But even though when I'm looking at myself, I'm like, my arms are small, my waist is too wide. I need wider lats to make just everything. You're never satisfied. There's no such thing as a perfect body.
yeah
That's what's fun. You can always keep chasing and trying to get better. I mean, there's always going to be a point where you're going to reach your best, and then life take over time.
I
But,
think that,
you always feel like you can improve.
yeah, I think that's like a sad thing to like look at like Kevin Levrone and like Ronnie Coleman, just seeing them like how they used to be and now, and I just like I wonder if there was like a point where they were like if they ever just think to themselves just like, man, I used to be great. Like that sounds kind of like a little rude, I feel like, but like I just wonder if they
No, I
ever
know what you mean.
Yeah.
Just being so big and so massive. I know it's hard on Ronnie. I think
Yeah.
Kevin handles it better because Kevin Levrone, he was a really cool bodybuilder. Like he would like compete for the Mr. Olympia, and then he would take off and do like rock and roll music, like he was in a band.
Oh really?
And then he would, yeah. You look
didn't
at
know
the
that.
videos, like Kevin Levrone would like lose weight. Like he would just look like an average person. You wouldn't even really, I mean, you would say that guy worked out, but like he would take off, and then he would come. He would train 6 months, and he'd come back to the Olympia, and he would be in the top five. Second, third. I mean, the guy to me had the most. Him and Phil Heath had the best shoulder, tricep, like arms. It's just crazy. They're most muscular. Their arms weren't that great when they did a front double bicep, but just the arms just hanging there or from the side was unreal. But yeah, but I know Ronnie, it's got to be hard because like he still like doesn't want to give it up now. It's sad seeing. I'm glad he can get to the gym, but it's sad that he's broken up like that.
Yeah, I remember. I don't know if you watched Sam Solik, but he said a thing. He said, "I'm tired of seeing all these YouTubers make videos with Ronnie Coleman. It's like playing Fortnite with a war veteran." It's like all these guys are coming in like yelling at his face, putting like mustaches on him.
Yeah. What's that guy that
Jesse James West
kid?
Yeah.
Jesse James. Yeah, he did one. They did him. They like had Ronnie like look like he was military pressing a whole lot of weight. Yeah, they just need to leave him alone.
Yeah. I mean, like
I watched that Sam Sulek kid because I'm a real big fan of Hostile Fuad Abiad and his podcast, and so I started watching him, man, and it kind of like made me want to be like, maybe I should just kind of like start just posting like raw stuff like that instead of like trying to be so edited. You know what I mean? Like he's just raw. You hear a dude grunting every set. Like he trains hard. He's gonna have to slow it down eventually because I feel like he's gonna be hurting his joints and stuff. But he's fun to watch. His diet, I don't follow his diet plan.
Yeah.
I know you're young like that and you're trying to get in calories, but I don't suggest you drinking a gallon of milk.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to do that. That's expensive.
And eat a whole bunch of cereal and stuff. I mean, I know he doesn't eat like that every day, but like, man, you can just cook a big thing of pasta and fix, some chicken or some lean ground beef, and just, man, that's a great bulking meal right there. You got your carbs, your protein, some fat.
I remember when all like the Sam Sulek memes started getting big, and I was like, who is this guy? Like, at first I was like, oh, it's just another like when they were posting all like the Rich Piana videos, like, oh, it's just another one of those things. And then I was like, and then I found out what his name was, and I looked him up, and I was like, okay, I'll watch a video or two. And then like 3 hours later, I'm just sitting there, I'm just still like scrolling through all his videos.
Yeah,
it's just,
I know, it got me too, man.
Yeah, it's
the Rich Piana's thing worked, man. I remember I followed the Bigger by the Day. I did everything he did, but not the steroids. And dude, I put on like 15 pounds, and it was pretty good weight, but I was eating 9 times a day.
Dang.
I was literally waking up at about 3:30 in the morning and eating, and then I would then wake up at like 7 and go to the gym.
Yeah.
I think I was having like 3 shakes, but the shakes consisted of like egg whites and like oatmeal and banana, stuff like that. It was like more like whole food.
Yeah.
But he was crazy though. I mean, I miss hearing his voice, his videos. You still have some people that like just play his videos. It was funny.
Yeah. I remember, I didn't know that he had died until like very recently. Because I remember, I think it was after Joe Aesthetics had died, and it was like a video showing like all of like the great bodybuilders who had passed away. And he was on, and I was like, what? When did that happen?
Yeah.
Because like everyone posting all the videos, and I was like, oh, well, he must be, making these, like right now. I didn't know that until like a month ago.
That was a shock. Him and Sean Roden passed about at the same time, I think.
Yeah.
Both of them were shockers. And then here recently, like the Joey Aesthetics thing and stuff, man, I don't know. I don't know how to explain that, man. I mean, these guys are young. They're dying, dropping like. People will sit there and they'll say it's steroids or whatever. Well, guys back in the day were doing it. They weren't dropping like that now, like something else. I don't like, talk about, vax and everything like that, but good possibility, blood clots and stuff like that. I mean, it scares me. I definitely, because I work in healthcare. I've had to have all the vaccinations just to keep my job.
Yeah.
So, make sure I take, fish oil, my CoQ10, all that stuff to like keep my blood thin. I go and get, every like 3 months, I try to go and, go to the blood drive because I'm O positive. So they call me all the time, anyways. But that's good to kind of like thin your blood out, to go give blood and stuff. Because man, it's scary, man. Because like you just never would have thought. These people are healthy. Look great, and just drop like that.
Yeah. Have you experienced? You're a natural bodybuilder, right?
Nah, I was natural for my first two shows.
Oh, okay. Have you experienced? Oh, sorry. You can go.
Go ahead. I mean, I didn't really use a whole lot. I did the basic, testosterone, Winstrol, Anavar. That was about it. I learned about, I was seeing people backstage taking insulin shots and stuff. It was crazy. I didn't. It's so much to the sport. You're like, man, I thought I'd just work out and show up. But anyway, go. What were you asking?
Have you like experienced any like side effects from bodybuilding?
No, not other than always like for some reason like shortly after I compete, so always I kind of got like this funk. It's like I don't know. So you did everything, you worked hard, you did well in the show. I didn't win, so I would be a little bummed about that. But like long as my biggest thing is I was better than what I was the last time I competed. That's another thing with bodybuilding. You can't always I'm gonna win. Like you don't ever know who's gonna show up. Unfortunately. There's always somebody out there better than you. But long as you can go out there and be better than you were last time, you won. In life too. But I would have that kind of like funk. Like I almost didn't want to train. Like I want to just quit. But after a week of that, like kind of like being lazy and not going to the gym for like 3 days, 4 days, like I was just ready to get back in the gym.
Yeah.
So that was about it. I've never had any. Well, post show. My second show, I did what a lot of people do and just like feel like I have to eat all that stuff that I was deprived from at that one moment after the show's over or that night and the next day. And man, I probably gained 15 pounds of just water. I mean, I had cankles. Like it hurt for me to walk because where my ankles were so swollen. You wouldn't even think I competed in a bodybuilding show like, a week ago. Like, I didn't have abs, there was no vascularity. Like, it's like I had to like, do a lot of cardio, sweat all that off and clean diet. And I learned never again, it's okay after your show to go have a pizza or a burger and fries. And then, the next day, eat most of your meals healthy. Just have one of those meals that you wanted while you were dieting every day. Don't eat it all in one day. Like a cheap one of those meals a couple of days during the week. Have pizza one day and then eat good for 1 or 2 days and then have your burger or barbecue. But no, that's never had any side effects. And then when I started, being enhanced, I never had any like infection or serious acne because I never went to real high dosages or anything like that. Gyno is a big one, thank God. Never got any of that. A lot of people get that. But yeah, it's crazy now, man. You hear all like on social media, you hear all these people talking about trend, and I'm like, I see these videos like this kid's like been working out, 3 months on trend, like taking trend, like that's crazy, man. Like I never even thought about anything outside. Like I said, I was like 21 when I competed. I was completely natural all the way up to then. And like, I built my physique. I don't think I maxed out what I could have built naturally. But like I said, I was about 215 pounds. I mean, I could have, over the years built more, but I put in the work, you know what I mean? Like I just didn't, I want to bodybuild. I loved it. That part about it sucks. Like most people that I hated having to do that, like take a shot and stuff. It just,
yeah, I know.
Some people think it's cool. Like that's the worst part of it.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people, or one guy specifically that I can't remember off the top of my head, who, I haven't like followed his story at all, but I saw one video where he was responding to a comment where the guy said, this guy was asking if he regretted taking gear on day one. I was like, you did what? You took gear on the first day?
That's awful, man. That's how
Yeah.
people mess themselves up, man. Just it ain't worth it.
Yeah.
Everybody wants something so fast, and that's what I love about bodybuilding is you can have all the money, you can have everything, but you cannot go in there and build. You can't buy a body. You got to
Yeah.
build it. You can go get liposuction, have them suck all over, like still that's gonna come back if you don't work at it. Like you got to build that muscle. You got to work for it. That's why, like in the gym, like I've always people like always respected me in the gym just because like of my work ethic. Like and that's how I become friends with people in the gym because I see somebody grinding out a set, working hard, and then that's like you know how you make relationships. Like a lot of people in the gym, I don't know what they do outside of it. They could be bad people for all I know, but when they're in there, they're my iron brothers.
Yeah.
Everybody's in there, going after a goal.
Yeah, I know. I know. Usually for me, like if I go to the gym like during the day, I'm like usually like, self-conscious. I'm like, oh, like especially when there's like other kids like my age coming in. I'm like, oh no, these kids are gonna be comparing themselves to me, and they're probably bigger than me. But like, I've gone especially since I switched gyms, I started going like earlier in the morning a little bit. Like today, I went at like 4, and I notice when I go earlier, it kind of makes me feel better because it's like there's not as many people there, and when I'm there earlier, it's like, well, these guys all know that I'm at least putting in the effort of coming here at 4 o'clock in the morning, and it's kind of like we're all just respective of that.
That's very much respect. I mean, I would wake up at 4. I don't think I think the only time I ever trained that early in the morning was like we left like on a Friday from up here in Connecticut. I'm from North Carolina, so it's like a 10-hour drive. And we would leave when we get off work at like 4 o'clock, 5. So we wouldn't get into North Carolina till like 2 in the morning. One time I was just like, screw it. Like, I'm not tired. Like, my buddy owns a gym that's like a half a mile, 2 miles from my parents' house. And I just would go there and work out at like 3 in the morning because it's 24 hours.
Yeah.
That's dedication. You're getting up that early.
Well,
I keep saying I'm going to get back to working out that early in the morning because, like you said, you just feel better. Like you feel so good about yourself. Like when you come out early. The only negative to me about it is I don't feel like I can perform at my best. Whereas I'm not as loose. Might not be quite as hydrated as I want to be, and I'm not going to push it as much, as I would if I train later in the afternoon.
Yeah, I think, or today specifically, I the reason I went so early was because since today was my first day of school, last night I went to bed at like 8 because I was like, okay, I'm gonna get up at like 4:30 and then go to the gym. Because I have to walk to the gym right now because my parents don't want to take me at 4:30 in the morning, and I don't have my license. I don't have my driver's license yet, so I had to walk to the bike. Yeah, I do have a bike, but it's just I don't know. Or it's at my mom's house right now, and I just don't really want to take it. And I kind of do like the walks because I like when it's like really quiet. It's kind of like I don't know. Have you ever played Gary's Mod? It's a video game.
No.
Okay. Well, it's known for being like really like ambient, like you can hear noises, but you don't know where they're coming from. And I really like that feeling because it's like I'm walking around and I can't see anyone or see any cars, but I can hear them. And I really like that part. But the reason I went this morning was because since it is I'm repeating myself now. It's my first day of school, and I woke up at like 11:30 last night, and I just could not go back to sleep for like 4 hours. I was just like laying in my bed, and then my alarm went off, and I was like, well, time to go to the gym. So I just got up, took my pre-workout, and started walking.
Yeah, man, you motivate me. I'm gonna try to get up in the morning, except I'm gonna get up at 5:30.
Nah, that's fine, man.
I'll get there at 6 because I work at a physical therapy and I work at a skilled nursing facility. So it's kind of like a nursing home, but it's a short term too for people that come in and go home. Like, somebody breaks their hip replacement or have, heart surgery or something. So, I mean, the earliest I can, get to work and be productive is probably like 8:30. A lot of times they're still eating breakfast and stuff. So like really 9 o'clock is when I can be productive. So that kind of is good for me. Like I don't have to be at work at a specific time. Like today, I didn't feel that well this morning. I got to work at like a little after 10, but I didn't get off till after 6 though.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I'm gonna try. I need to get back to going in the mornings. Plus, it'll just give me more time in the afternoon. Like I'm a grown up. I got a wife. I got two
Yeah.
dogs. I need to spend time with them. A lot of times right now I'm just getting home from the gym or something. So
Yeah. I know my school starts at 7:30, so I only have like two and a half hours. So I do have to go a little earlier, but I still kind of like it. It's like, I don't know. I just feel like I get like a little bragging right to myself that I actually got up and decided to go.
Yeah, no, you do, man. It's dedication, man. That's the first step. You get up and do that. I mean, those other kids in your class that they're not that dedicated and disciplined to do that.
Yeah.
That's respect. I mean, a lot of people just hit that snooze button and go right back to sleep.
Yeah, that's I don't know why, but it's like, especially like in my age, and I don't really have a lot of friends at the school I go to, so it's like I'll walk around and I'll just kind of like think like, well, I kind of like I don't like think of myself as like a loser. Like some people have told me like, oh, you're not a loser because you don't have friends. Like, oh, I don't think myself as a loser. I just think I got unlucky with like, the timing that I like got into different schools and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I think of myself like I'm like, well, I know I'm not like the kind of kid who will like stay up till like 2 a.m. just like playing video games, doing whatever I want. Like I have some discipline, which is a lot more than most kids my age.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Is that your dog?
Yeah. I got two of them. Say, hey, Drake.
Hi, Drake.
Drake's got a haircut today. There's Cleo.
Aw.
Hey, Cleo.
What kind of dogs are they?
So Cleo, the white one, she's a cockapoo, a cocker spaniel poodle, and then he's a Irish settler poodle mix.
Mm-hmm.
So they're about full grown. They're a little over 8 months.
Nice. I have two dogs too. One's a Springer Spaniel, and the other one's a Springer Spaniel Golden Doodle mix.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, dogs are the best, man.
They're the best.
But this was, I was telling you earlier, this is my trophy. I don't know if you can see where Jay Cutler signed it.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, that's sick. I was really hoping this year that I could go to the Olympia. My dad said we could, but then he said we couldn't, so.
Yeah, that's sad, man. I hadn't been to anything like that yet, and I'm so, all I do is watch on YouTube is I'm watching. It used to be Nick Strength and Power, but now I don't really watch him that much anymore. I watch desktop bodybuilding, hostile. There's this guy Ivan bodybuilding. He posts a lot of good stuff. But yeah, I mean, I'm always watching that stuff, and I was excited, when they were doing the clash for the crew.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was like, I hope I win first place or I win the Arnold tickets.
Yeah.
But I came in second.
Yeah,
for the the Nintendo Switch or whatever. But they just like reimbursed me the money for it, which was cool, anyways. But I was kind of excited about getting the Switch because I was like, me and my wife can play Mario Kart.
Yeah. The Arnold would be another cool one. I like the Olympia is cool because you get to see all like the biggest bodybuilders, and the Arnold's cool because you get to see some of the biggest bodybuilders and Arnold.
Have you ever been to Arnold?
No, I haven't been to any competitions.
They tell like the Arnold's way cooler because there's so much more going on than just bodybuilding. Like they have that stupid sport slap boxing and like all that stuff there. They have like the strongman. They have everything. Whereas like the Olympia is just bodybuilding. But
yeah,
I definitely want to go. I really hope. I mean, it's going to take time. But like Clout gets that big and like have a booth like at the Arnold or like.
I was actually just about to say that. I was like, it'd be really
the Olympia. That would be so dope.
Yeah, it'd be really cool for like some of the crew to go.
Yeah. How long have you been with Clout?
I think since like February.
Okay.
I think that's about.
I'll be October will be a full year for me.
Nice.
Yeah.
How do you like Clout?
I remember.
This episode of the podcast was brought to you by Clout Power. With the gym community expanding faster than it ever has, people usually rely on the bigger pre-workout and supplement brands that everyone knows about. These brands will use strange mixtures in order to make their pre-workouts taste better, but in turn makes the side effects of the pre-workout larger and more prominent. Clout, however, tells you on the bottle where they get their ingredients, and when you buy with Clout, you know you're getting your money's worth of products. They just recently released a new pump product, and let me tell you, this pre gives you the nastiest of pumps. Kyle Pump can also be stacked with other Kyle high stimulant pre-workouts. Now, when you buy Clout, you may be wanting to save a little bit of money, and with my code Brawny, you can save 15% off your entire order. Not just your first order, but every time you use code Brawny at checkout, you can support this podcast and save yourself a little bit of money on the best supplements on the market. Once again, you can use my code Brawny, BRAWNY, at checkout and save 15% off your entire order. This episode of the podcast is brought to you by PowerWing Co. PowerWing is a clothing brand that makes awesome looking gym clothing, and I love these clothes. They are super comfortable and incredibly high quality, and you can save 10% off of all of your orders by using my code Brawny. Once again, you can use my code Brawny, BRAWNY, for 10% off all of your PowerWing orders. You can click the link in this episode's description and take you to their website, but do not check out without using my code in order to save 10% off. One last time, this code is Brawny, BRAWNY, and with every order you make, you support this podcast. So I thank you in advance.
What'd you say?
How you liking Clout?
I love it, man. I love the brand. I'm proud to like represent the brand, to take their supplements, to promote them. All the guys are really cool. That Anthony and I'm trying to think, Drew, and then Dan. You don't. I mean, like any other supplement company, you're not going to be like talk to the owners of the company and they ask you input and stuff like that. But the biggest thing with me is like before I was using Clout, I used Hostile and HD Muscle. There's a few other. I was always big into taking bodybuilder supplements because like a bodybuilder who has a supplement brand, like he's gonna put exactly what he wants to be in it. Whereas versus like brands like like C4 and all kinds of stuff like that. They got a proprietary blend, and you don't really know what's in there. So when Clout reached out to me, they're like, "Hey, we'll send you. We want you to try our pre-workout, and we'll send you like 2 flavors of amino acids." So I was like, "Yeah, sure." So they sent it to me. I got the pre-workout. Everything was transparent, labeling, all the dosages and ingredients were like right on. They sent me the Mamba, and I took it. I had the poison apple. Flavor was good. It was up there with some of the best flavors I've had with pre-workouts. Because normally I really didn't really care about the flavor. Because most of the time I pre-workout, I just like down it and just chug it. But like now, like I kind of like sip on them, enjoy them a little more because all their flavors, they're actually really good.
Yeah.
And then I took the Mamba and I had great workouts. I mean, that shit hits hard too. Like, I don't take the Mamba all the time. I'm not a real big stimulant guy. Like I don't even drink coffee anymore. Like the only like stim I get is before I train. So whatever I take, it works.
Yeah.
And then and then the amino acids, both of those tasted good and everything. I like pretty much everything. I was, only thing with amino acids, I've even mentioned it, and they might have mentioned it over time, is just increasing the EA dosages. Because, like they found out, the EAs, which is the whole 9, amino acids, the full spectrum. So if you have the full spectrum, you got all your BCAs, it's still the same. So that's the only thing that I've mentioned about something, but everything else is great. I mean, that's still a great amino acids, the 2-to-1 ratio with electrolytes, and then they have something else in there to help with absorption. And I waited for a while before I totally joined because they were out of stock on protein. Yeah, and I was like, I gotta try their protein. Like, I'm not just gonna join a company because I like their pre-workout and amino acids. Like, protein's a big deal to me. I got to kind of, with my stomach issues, I got to make sure I can digest it and stuff. So I got their protein, and all the flavors are pretty good. Like the vanilla, I'd say the vanilla's a really good vanilla. The chocolate, it's a good chocolate. It's not the best chocolate I ever had. It's definitely not the worst. The cookies and cream, pretty good. It's a decent cookies and cream. I've had some a little bit better, but like I said, it's definitely not the worst cookies and cream. The salted caramel's off the chain. That's a delicious. I
I've
love
heard.
that one. Either you're gonna like that or you don't like it. Like if you don't like salted caramel, you're not gonna like it.
Yeah,
And then the cinnamon swirl was pretty good. So then after I tried everything, I was like, yeah, man, I'm happy to join. And then they just been growing ever since then, man. They
Yeah.
they did the pump caps, and then they did the Final Destination Kayo, and to me that's up there like with top 5 like best pre workout. Yeah, best pre workouts like in the industry. Like, because I'm not sit here and say like, oh, Clout's got the best pre workouts there is. Like, there's so many brands that are all very similar, using the same ingredients and stuff, but they're up there with some of the best to me.
yeah. I
And
know.
like I said, I'm proud to be a part of the brand and see it grow. It's going to continue to grow. And people that I'm friends with, that are using it and stuff now, they seem to like it. And, so that's good.
Yeah, I remember before
It's been a great experience, because
Yeah.
that's something I waited for, honestly, like all along. Like I've always wanted, when you're bodybuilding, you want to be with a supplement company.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of companies reach out to me, but nothing like I said. I'm not just going to join if I don't really. If I'm not going to take it all the time every day. It don't taste good. It doesn't go well with my body. Because there was this one company like ESPN Labs or something. Like I was getting direct messages from them like all the time, like join blah blah, and like so much this month you make and all this. But like I never heard of them, and
Yeah.
then like they sent me a sample of something. It wasn't that great. So
Yeah.
that's why when I got this opportunity, I was really happy about it. And then like, I do it pretty well with sales and stuff. I mean, like basically like I get supplements now and I make extra money too. So like I don't pay. It's like I'm not paying for supplements anymore and I'm making extra money. So it's a win-win.
Mm-hmm.
And like, as far as like promoting it and stuff like that, it's pretty easy because like I like it. So it's easy to talk about something you like. If you've ever had to try to like push something and you don't really want to do it, it's not fun. And you feel like you're pushing something on somebody with this. I'm like, hey, I love it. You want to try it? They don't? Okay. All right.
Yeah, I did bucked up before I had clout. I remember like the flavor was like okay. Like it wasn't like really good, but it was like I was able to take it,
Yeah.
But like I remember one time I got one of the bucked up pre-workouts. I think it was the bucked up black rainbow rush or something. And I was looking at the ingredients and I was like, I don't even know what half of this stuff is. Like it's just like random things that are thrown in just to like help with like a better pump or something. And that like every time I took that I ended up like kind of getting feeling like a little sick afterwards. And then my friend told me about clout and I was like, whatever. Like I said this in the last episode too, but he was the kind of like person who would kind of just like take everything at like face value. Like if like he told me he heard about it from one of his friends, and I was like, okay, sure, yeah. And then I tried it and I was like, this is great. Like it was,
what was the first thing you tried?
The Realm Poison Apple. And I tried it, and I was like,
that was actually a good non-stem formula too.
Yeah, I really liked that one. And
I think that one I feel like they had nootropics in that one. I'm not sure.
I can't remember. I gave the rest of my tub to one of my friends.
Yeah, I still have some poison apple because the round poison apple tasted like to me it tastes like apple juice. That one didn't really taste sour. Because the ingredients are different, but it's still good though. But right now, I think Cosmic Dust is my favorite as far as like pre-workout flavors.
I definitely right now I love mixing the both of the Kaio, like the pump and the pre-workouts. That's why I have both of them on my desk right now, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah,
the good mixture I had was the new Sour Paradise. I would mix the Sour Paradise with the Kaio Pump Creamsicle.
Oh yeah,
because they're both orange.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then you had like more of a tart orange, but then you still got the kind of cream from the creamsicle. Because to me, that Sour Paradise tastes like those little halos.
Yeah. Yeah, those it's Sour Paradise. I remember, there was like a week when I got paid that I got like 3. I can't remember which pre-works I got. I got the Sour Paradise, Arctic Cherry, and Space Candy. Arctic Cherry was in Karma, and then both of the other ones were in Mamba. And Space Candy, I think, is probably my favorite Mamba flavor. At least of the ones that I had.
Yeah.
Sorry,
last time I tried that one, I don't know. It didn't. It was okay, but I like some of the other ones better. Like the Arctic Cherry, that one I forget about that one. That's another thing, man. Like all the flavors are so good. Like I'm like, oh, which one I want to take today? Like
yeah, it's kind of
not
funny.
like once you're a part of, like you're part of the company. It's not like when you normally, buy supplements. You just buy that one and you use that one that whole month. Like I got, about one of everything up there. So it's like what I want to take today. But most time it's Kayo. As long as it's not too late in the evening or something.
Yeah, I think I have like 9, or I probably like full bottles total of pre-workout. I probably got like 4 or 5 just like full tubs. But I have a lot.
Yeah, hopefully the protein drops soon. I need some more of that. I'm hoping that would like come in like around the time the new hat drops, and I can just get everything at once.
I know. I came in like just before all the protein powder sold out, and I remember I didn't have enough money to buy the protein powder, and I was like, it's okay. Once I get my next paycheck, I can get some. And then like the next day they sold out, and I was like, dang.
Oh, so you never got to try it?
Yeah, I never got to try it, but I'm really excited.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Like I said, vanilla is great because with a vanilla you can do anything with.
Yeah.
You can throw a banana in there, or berries, or banana and peanut butter, or cereal, and like I used to do the vanilla and put Fruity Pebble cereal in there and blend that up. It tastes just like the milk, at the end.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. Like I haven't had like the only type of like protein powder flavors that I've had is vanilla and like chocolate. And so like when I saw like all the flavors for that, I was like, that's interesting, because like I don't even know like what to expect from that. But so far from what I've been told, like most of them are like pretty much just the description, like the salted caramel one and the was there like an Oreo kind of one?
Yeah, cookies and cream.
Yeah, that one.
It's got a little small piece of the little cookie in there. That one's pretty good. Like I said, I've tried Ghost's cookies and cream. That one, I mean, I'd say that one's better than ours, but still, like not, our salted caramel is really good. The vanilla is really good, and then the cinnamon swirl, that one's pretty good too. You can do that one with your oatmeal. I made pancakes with that one, like protein pancakes and stuff.
Yeah, I made some this wasn't with Cloud, but I tried to make some pancakes one time. This was like 3 months ago, and I put creatine and protein powder in with just like the normal mix. But I don't think I added enough water because it was like cement. Like it's like sort of like drying over really fast. It's funny. But yeah.
But one thing though, speaking of like supplements and protein stuff, always make sure your meals are the most important.
Yeah.
I remember like I used to this kid, but man, like Brandon, like how do I get bigger? I'm like, you gotta get in your proteins. Like, man, I'm drinking 3 shakes a day. I'm like, how much you eating though? He was eating like one whole meal and drinking 3 shakes. I was like, bro, like, what do you think is gonna put more weight on you? Like, I dropped like an 8-ounce piece of chicken and then like a scoop of protein. Like, protein's great, but it's a supplement. It's not supposed to be your everyday thing.
Yeah, I usually use protein or like make a shake for like post workout, and then like if it's like midnight and I still need like a bunch of calories, I'll just make one because I can drink that pretty fast. I drink a lot faster than I eat, so.
Yeah, like there's like, to me the best 3 is like struggling on time, or like someone like you, school, like in class, like you chug a shake real quick before lunch, in between lunch or before you get out of school. And then another one, I do that like late at night, or definitely when I'm bulking. Like especially now that I got like these nice like the
oh nice, you got
ice, the ice shaker cups. I'll make a protein shake and I'll just set it by my nightstand because that one's my favorite.
Yeah, I like this one too.
One better.
I have like I've got like 6 of these.
Yeah, I got to get another one. But those are ones that are actually my favorite because how they're the little mixer thing, the way it's made. Like, 'cause I have some protein that has like little cereal pieces and stuff. Like I'll put little like in my vanilla protein, like I'll crunch up like pieces of cinnamon toast crunch or something just to give it a little flavor. And with this thing, like the cereal gets stuck and it doesn't come through.
Yeah.
And the cloud shaker you got, like it all comes through. So yeah, these are just really good for keeping it cold. But yeah, I'll do that at night. I'll put it, because I always wake up to pee or just roll over and I'll just grab it and chug it. And, there's, 40, 50 grams of protein. And I'll put like avocado oil or extra virgin olive oil in it to put some fats to slow it down a little bit to help digest better.
Yeah, I need to start putting like olive oil or something in my shakes. I've heard about that and I've never had the guts to do it. I'm like, I feel like it would like kind of like ruin the taste of it, but I don't know. I've never tried it.
No, it just makes it kind of, creamy, kind of. But yeah, no, I started doing that recently. Well, I've been doing it a while now, but like, I used to like when I first started, like the way I was, if it didn't have fat, I could eat it. And I actually got shredded like that. I'll try to find my picture when I was like 15 because I wanted abs at first, and I got abs, and then after that, like I just wanted to be bigger, and then I wanted to be like 175 pounds with abs. I wanted to be 180 with abs, and I wanted to be 200 with abs, and I want to be 225. I'm like, and I want to be like 250 if I can ever get back there with abs like off season, then on stage be like 230.
Yeah, I kind of want to get up to like the 200 range, but like I'm not like. There are definitely like open bodybuilders that are shorter than me and that weigh like more than 200 pounds. But I feel like if I end up being 200 pounds, because I'm 5'7", I'm not like that tall. Okay. So if I do become 200 pounds, I would just be like this big. It's like,
well, you probably grow a little bit more.
Yeah, probably.
You got some more years to grow.
Yeah, I've really thought about that. I'm like 200 pounds. That's like almost twice my weight right now because I'm really skinny right now. I'm just like, that's pretty big.
Yeah, you get there though, man. I was just like, me. It's crazy when you think back. I mean, I remember when I just wanted to be able to bench press a 45 on each side. 135.
I remember.
And then you're doing 3 plates. Never done 4 on each side.
Yeah, I did. When I first did 135, I actually didn't have a spotter. I asked this one dude to spot me on like I think it was like 130 or 125 when I was like setting up for it, and then he just like left, and there was like basically there's like a couple people in the gym, but there wasn't really that many other people in the gym.
Yeah. And
so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go for it, and then I did it. It was really funny.
Yeah, I've done some risky stuff, and I've had plenty of times where I had to roll it off my stomach or tilt it over.
Yeah, I see a lot of people. I mean, I know it's. Depending on at a certain weight, it's kind of dangerous to do. But like, I see a lot of people where they just like they drop it and they don't have a spot or anything, and they just like sit there and go like, what do I do? And it's like, well, if you're benching 400 pounds, you should know you can like tilt it or like roll it off. It's kind of funny.
I don't know. People do crazy stuff.
Yeah. Well, I gotta go eat some dinner, so.
Yeah, I gotta do the same, man.
Yeah.
I cooked that chicken I was grilling earlier.
Yeah, it was nice talking to you.
I appreciate you inviting me on, man. This was my first podcast. It was nice talking with you, and I'll send you some stuff to help you out with putting on bulking and stuff like that. And
yeah,
you can always chat with me, man. Because I feel for you. You traveling schools and like get that like you start to build like some relationship with some people, and then you probably moved and but the gym's a good place to build friends and stuff like that, like find you a workout partner and stuff.
It'd
be good. But yeah, I'll be in touch with you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, see ya.
All right, man. Everything.
Yep, see ya.